Hello, welcome to day 130 of Daily Bread. We'll be reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 25, 2 Kings, chapter 15, Psalms 127, Proverbs 10, and from the book of Acts, chapter 27. We'll be in the Scriptures 2009 version. Numbers chapter 24 is Numbers chapter 25 is on page 169. And Israel dwelt in Shittim, and people began to whore with the daughters of Moab. And they invited the people to the slaughterings of their mighty ones, and the people ate and bowed to their mighty ones. Thus Israel was joined to Baal Pari, and the displeasure of Yahweh burned against Israel. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Take all the leaders of the people and hang them up before Yahweh, before the sun, so that the burning displeasure of Yahweh turns away from Israel." And Moshe said to the judges of Israel, "Each one of you kill his men who were joined in Baal Perazim." And see, one of the children of Israel came and brought to his brothers a Midianite woman before the eyes of Moshe, and before the eyes of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tent of appointment. And when Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a spear in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. Thus the plague of the children among the children of Israel came to a stop. And those who died in the plague were 24,000. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was ardent with my order in their midst, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my order. Therefore see, I am giving him my covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and to his seed after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because of his ardent for his Elohim." It made atonement for the children of Israel. And the name of the man of Israel who was struck with the Midianite woman was Zimri, son of Salu, the leader of the father's house among the Shimonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was struck was Cosbi, the daughter of Sisor, and he was the head of the people of the father's house of Midian. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Distress the Midianites, and you shall strike them, for they distress you with their tricks, and with their deceit, and with which they deceived you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the leader of Midian, their sister, who was struck in the day of the plague because of Peor." 2 Kings chapter 15 on page 398. In the 27th year of Yorab, sovereign of Israel, Azar, son of Asmada, sovereign of Judah, began to reign. He was 16 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jechalana of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, according to all that his father Adonijah did. However, the high places were not taken away, and the people who still slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. And Yahweh smote the sovereign, so that he was a leper until the day of his death. And he dwelt in a separate house. And Jotham, son of the sovereign, was over the house, ruling the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of of Azarel, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Judah? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Jotham, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Azariah, sovereign of Judah, Zechariah, son of Joram, began to reign over Israel in Samaria for 6 new moons, 6 months. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, as his fathers had done. He did not turn away from the sins of Joram of Nebat, who made Israel sin. And Shallum, son of Jezbeh, conspired against him and struck him in front of the people and killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, see, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereign of Israel? This was the word of Yahweh, which he spoke to Uri, saying, your sons to the 4th generation are going to sit on the throne of Israel. And it came to be so. And Shallum, son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 39th month of Urizi, the sovereign of Judah. And he reigned a month of days in Samaria. And Mehanim, son of Gehazi, went up from Tarsara and came to Samaria, and struck Shallum, son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Shallum, and the conspiracy which he led, see, they are written in the book of the annal of the sovereigns of Israel. And Menahem struck Tibsah, and all who were there, and its borders, from Tishar, because they did not open it to him. Therefore he struck it, and he ripped open all the pregnant women. In the 39th year of Arazah, sovereign of Judah, Menahem, son of Gadi, began to reign over Israel 10 years in Samaria. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. He did not turn away from the sins of Joram of the sons of Nebat, who made Israel sin all his days. Pul, the sovereign of Ashur, came against the land, and Mahan gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver for his hand to be with him to strengthen the reign of his hand. And Mahan extracted the silver of Israel, of all the mighty men of wealth, of each one 50 shekels of silver, to give to the sovereign of Ashur. And the sovereign of Ashur turned back and did not stay in the land. And the rest of the acts of Mahan and all that he did, are they not written in the book of annals of the sovereigns of Israel? So Mahan slept with his fathers, and Pekwek, his son, reigned in his place. In the 15th year of Azariah, the sovereign of Judah, Pekwek, the sovereign of Mahan, began to reign over Israel in Samaria for 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. He did not turn away from the sins of Joram, son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. And Pekwek, son of Rehamoth, a chief officer of his, conspired against him and struck him in Samaria, in the high place of the sovereign's house, along with Argob and Areth, and with him were 50 men of Gilead. So he killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Penak, and all that he did, see, they are written in the book of the annals of the sovereign of Israel. In the 2nd year of Azariah, sovereign of Judah, Pekwek, son of Joram, began to reign over Israel in Samaria for 20 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. He did not turn away from the sins of Joram, son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. In all the days of Pekwek, sovereign of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, sovereign of Asher, came and took Ion and Beth Machor and Yanoah and Kadesh and Hasor and Gilead and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and took them into exile to Ashur. And Hoshea, son of Elah, led a conspiracy against Pilah, son of Ramah, and struck him and killed him, and reigned in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Porah and all that he did, see, they are written in the book of the annals of the sovereign of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pewach, son of Jotham, sovereign of Israel, Jotham, son of Uzziah, sovereign of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Sadok. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh. He did according to all his father Uzziah did. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. He built the upper gates of the house of Yahweh. And the rest of the acts of Jotham and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereign of Judah? In those days Yahweh began to send Rezin, sovereign of Aram, and Pewach, son of Ramil, against Judah. So Jotham slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. Psalms 127 on page 721. If Yahweh does not build the house, its builders have labored in vain. If Yahweh does not guard the city, the watchman has stayed awake in vain. In vain do not rise up early, do not to sit up late to eat bread of toil. So he gives his beloved sleep. Look, children are an inheritance from Yahweh. The fruit of the womb is the reward. As arrows in the hand of a mighty man, so are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who has filled his quiver with them. They are not ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate. Proverbs 10. On page 737. Proverbs of Solomon: a wise son makes a father rejoice, but a foolish son is his mother's sorrow. Treasure of wrongness are no value, but righteousness delivers from death. Yahweh does not let the being of the righteous go hungry, but he thrusts away the desire of the wrong. Poor is he who works with a lazy hand, but the hand of a hard worker makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in the harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessing are on the heads of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wrong. The remembrance of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wrong ones are not. The wise in heart accepts commands, but the one with foolish lips falls. He who walks in integrity walks safely, but he who perverts his ways becomes known. He who winks with the eyes causes sorrow, and one with foolish lips falls. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wrong. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all transgressions. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks heart. The wise hide knowledge, but the mouth of a fool is near ruin. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The ruin of the poor is their poverty. The wage of the righteous is for life. The increase of the wrong is for sin. He who heeds discipline is in the way of life, but he who refuses reproof goes astray. He who hides hatred has lying lips, and he who sends out a slanderer is a fool. When words are many, transgression is not absent, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, the heart of the wrong is of little value. The lips of the righteous shepherd many, but fools die for lack of heart. The blessing of Yahweh makes one rich, and he adds no pain with it. To work out wicked schemes is like sport to a fool, but wisdom is for a man of understanding. What the wrong one fears comes upon him, but the desire of the righteous is granted. As the whirlwind passes by, the wrong one is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy one to those who send him. The fear of Yahweh prolongs days, but the years of the wrong ones are shortened. The righteous look forward to joy, but the expectancy of the wrong ones perish. The way of Yahweh is a stronghold for the perfect, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. The righteous is never shaken, while the wrong shall not dwell in the earth. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the tongue of perverseness is cut out. The lips of the righteous knows what is pleasing, but the mouth of the wrong speaks perversities. Book of Acts, chapter 27, on page 1086. And when it was decided that we should sail to Italy, they delivered Saul and some other prisoners to one named Julius, the captain of Augustus' regiment. And having embarked in a ship from Adram, about to sail along the coasts of Asia, Turkey, did not set sail. Archelaus, a Macedonian of Thermopylae, was with us, and on the next day we landed at Sidon. And Julius treated Saul kindly and allowed him to go with his friends to receive attention. And from there we put out to sea and sailed close to Cyprus, because the winds were against us. And having sailed over the sea along Calhega and Pampelina, we came to Mora of Laconia. And there the captain, having found an Alexandrian ship sailing to Italy, did put us on board. And having sailed slowly many days, and arriving with difficulty off Kinotis, the wind not allowing us to proceed, we sailed close to Crete, off Salamum, and passing it with difficulty, we came to a place called Fair Havens, near the city of Lycina. And much time had passed, and the sailing now being dangerous, because the fast was already over, Saul advised them, saying, Men, I see that this voyage is going to end with damage and great loss, not only of the cargo and ship, but also our lives. But the captain was persuaded by the pilot and the owner of the ship rather than what Shaw said. And because the harbor was unsuitable to winter in, the greater part advised to set sail from there too. If somehow they were able to reach Phoenix, a harbor of Crete, facing southwest and northwest and northwest, to pass the winter. And a south wind blowing softly, thinking they had attained their purpose. Having lifted anchor, they sailed along Crete, close inshore. And not long after, a stormy headwind rushed down from it called a northeaster. And when the ship was caught in it, and unable to head against the wind, we let her go and were driven. And having run under a small island called Calcula, we were hardly able to control the small boat. And having hoisted it, they used help to undergird the ship, and fearing lest they should run aground on Soturus, they lowered the tackle, and so were driven.
Was that for me?
And because we were exceedingly storm-tossed, the next day they began to throw cargo overboard. And on the third day we threw out the ship's tackle with our own hands. When now neither the sun nor stars appeared for many days, and no small storm beat us on, all expectancy that we would be saved was taken away. And when there had been a long absence of food, then Shaw standing in the midst of them, saying, "Truly, men, you should have listened to me, not to have sailed to Crete, and sustained this damage and loss. And now I urge you to take courage, for there shall be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. And tonight a messenger of Elohim, to whom I belong, and whom I serve, stood by me, saying, Do not be afraid, Shaw. You have to be brought before Caesar. And look, Elohim has favorably given you all those who sail with you. Therefore take courage, men, for I believe Elohim, that it shall be according to the way it was spoken to me. However, we need to run aground on some island." And when the 14th night came, as we were driven up and going down in the Adriatic Sea, about midnight the sailors suspected that they were drawing near some land. So taking soundings, they found it to be 20 fathoms. And a little further on they took soundings again and found it to be 15 fathoms. And fearing lest we should run aground on the rocks, they dropped 4 anchors from the stern and were praying for day to come. But when the sailors were seeking to escape the ship, when they had let down the boat into the sea, under pretense of going to cast out anchors from the prow, Shaw said to the captain and the soldiers, "If these do not remain in the ship, it is impossible for you to be saved." Then the soldiers did cut the ropes of the boat and let it fall off. And when day was about to come, Shaw urged them to take all food, saying, "Today is the 14th day you have continued without food, and eaten none at all. So I urge you to take food, for this concerns your safety, since not a hair shall fall from the head of any of you." And having said this, he took bread and gave thanks to Elohim in the presence of all of them. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. And they all encouraged and also took food for themselves. And all of us were 276 beings in the ship. And being satisfied with food, They were lightening the ship, throwing out lightning, making it lighter, throwing out all the wheat into the sea. And when day came, they did not recognize the land, but they noted a certain bay with a beach, onto which they planned to run the ship, if possible. And having cast off the anchors, they let them in the sea, meanwhile untying the rudder ropes, and they hoisted the foresail to the wind and made for the beach. But coming upon a place where two seas met, they grounded the ship, and the prow struck fast and remained immovable. But the stern was broken by the pounding of the surf, and the soldiers intended to kill the prisoners, lest any of them should swim away and escape. But the captain, intending to save Shaw, kept them from their intention, and commanded those able to swim to jump first and go to land. And the rest, some indeed on boards, and some on items of the ship. So it came to be they all reached the land in safety. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.